I'm a feminist because
I'm a feminist because
I am a feminist because
I'm a feminist
because I grew up in the 50s and lived through observing my mother have no role and no voice in the family.
For as long as I can remember, I noticed little things in my life. Even when I was like 5 years old, I noticed little things in my life that seemed really unfair and just double standards that frustrated me. And I didn't know what the word was for a long time, and I realized that that was what I was. Somebody who just believes in equality based on gender.
Because it is completely ridiculous that we live in a world that asks what a person who survives a sexual assault was doing, as opposed to asking what the person who perpetrated it was doing.
I believe that women deserve equal pay for equal work. I'm a feminist because I believe that women deserve unlimited and free access to abortion as well as reproductive health. I'm a feminist because women deserve to not be screamed at in the streets whenever they're walking down the road.
I'm a woman of color, I'm an Asian American lesbian, I'm working class, I come from, I'm a descendant of immigrants. I just find that the system totally doesn't work for me on all those levels.
I'm a queer woman of color, and I think it's important to put my voice into the feminist movement because queer women of color are often overlooked or marginalized.
Feminism is important to men too because in our society there's a very small set of accepted behaviors for men, and if you do not fit in or follow those behaviors, you're labeled a fag or a sissy, etc., regardless of your sexual orientation.
Why am I a feminist? Why would I not be a feminist? Look at what's currently happening today with the DSK case. Women, there's a huge pay gap. Street harassment, I mean, I could just go on and list a million reasons.
Guys should be feminists because it affects everyone.
And I noticed that all these people around the world, particularly women, were just second-class citizens. And when you come to face with that reality, you know, it's just hard not to passionately fight against it, and that's why I'm a feminist.
I'm involved in Slutwalk because
I am participating in the New York City Slutwalk, or Slutwalk in general, because
I'm doing Slutwalk because
I'm doing Slutwalk because
I'm marching in Slutwalk for so many reasons.
I'm doing Slutwalk because I want to challenge the notion that feminism is over. It is not over.
I think Slutwalk has already shown that thousands of people around the world are ready to rebuild a feminist movement sort of on the basis of what Slutwalk represents, which is making sure people's bodies are safe.
I really think it's the beginning of a new women's movement, a new gender equality movement based on a very grassroots level that can give expression to the anger and the desire for actual change that people really feel.
there's people across all lines that have a gut instinct that something is wrong with the way that women are treated.
Since I was probably 16 years old, maybe even before that, there has not been a day that I have left the house and not come back having experienced some kind of street harassment.
I want to stand with survivors of rape and sexual assault and tell them that it's okay to come forward, tell them that I stand in solidarity with them.
I don't want to live in a city or society where cops can get away with rape.
To walk in solidarity with other survivors of sexual assault and sexual harassment.
Because I've been sexually assaulted, sexually harassed, and I don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that.
The case was never taken to court, and so I felt very much like it was I was raped by the legal system, the medical system, and plus by the police.
I feel like every single person on this planet has the right to get home safely.
I think that if we fight, we can change this, and it can be an experience we can all share equally.
We're young girls, we face like sexual harassment and the fear of being raped and rape culture every day, and I feel like participating in Slutwalk is the most important thing we can do to fight this most important and relevant of problems.
Because I'm really upset about how particularly female sexuality, or just what people perceive to be feminine sexuality, is made taboo in our society, and that's the reason why people are victim blamed and slut shamed to begin with.
The word slut, I just feel like there are so many words like slut or whore or any other of those words you can pull out of your pocket that can be used for women, but there's nothing, barely anything like that for men. And so I feel like we need to kind of reclaim that word and kind of reclaim the right to dress the way we want to dress.
I'm really tired of people policing each other's bodies, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, whether you don't have any specified gender, whether you're trans. Like, I'm just sick and tired of people policing each other, and that also goes for feminists. I don't think feminists need to police each other anymore. I think actually we've definitely,
we can't fight the patriarchy if we're too busy fighting each other.
So, we do slut walk.
Because I don't want to live in a society where we blame people for being the victims of crime.
We live in a world where a lot of people's stories won't be accepted as assault, rape, whatever they are. They'll be ignored. They'll be told they were wrong for assuming that something bad happened to them. Jim Slutwalk, because when I was assaulted, the first thing my friend told me was, shut up, stop crying.
Because rape should never exist, but it does, and it needs to be stopped.
It's a way of battling rape culture in a sense that women are often accused of, or anyone who is sexually assaulted is accused of deserving what happened to them because of the way that they're dressed or the way that they act. And that's not the case. The only person who's responsible for rape is the rapist.
Rape culture has to change in this country.
The behavior or the dress or the way that you talked that has been interpreted to be sexual is used against you when sexual violence is done to you.
It's a way to deal with it. It's doing something to bring attention to this and talk about victim blaming because nobody's talking about it.
There's really no one way to be a slut or be slutty, and that I think is the most shameful part about it, is that it's so incredibly arbitrary and it can just be used bar none for anyone for any reason, and it makes no sense and it's ridiculous.
Rape victims are being blamed and getting called sluts.
Being called sluts when they wear what they want to wear, women should be able to do whatever they want to do without the fear of being assaulted.
I really see reproductive rights as a global struggle, and it's so connected to the slut walk, because the slut walk for me too is all about us reclaiming our own bodies, our right to decide what we want to do with our bodies, not the state, not other people, not right-wingers.
I think that the connection between women's reproductive rights and slut shaming is in lockstep, and I am sick of it. I don't want women's rights under attack, and I am going to march.
I can't wait to walk the streets of the city that I live in with a ton of people who also believe that no one deserves to be sexually assaulted or have violence done upon them or their bodies.
Because there's no good reason not to.
So I can show off my armpit hair.
I wear makeup and I shave my legs and...
The look on Betty's face is priceless.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait till that mic goes by.
Can I see your tattoo?
March with us on October 1st. March with us on October 1st. I'll see you there.
March with us on October 1st.
Slutwalk NYC, October 1st. Come to it. It's gonna be awesome.